What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing some cam timing on this 2008 gsxr1000 engine. They're pretty much the same from 01 to 08 on the gsxr1000 engine. The procedure is pretty much the same on any overhead cam engine. I got a lot of people asking me about this process, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do it today. So for this process, here's some of the tools I'll be using. I have this timing wheel here. It's a 180-degree timing wheel. I prefer this one over the smaller timing wheel. It's more accurate. The process is a little bit different with this one, but in my opinion, it's a little bit easier than with the smaller timing wheel. So I'll be showing you how to do it with this timing wheel today. I have my dial indicator here from Matco Tools. I'll be using it. As you can see, I have an extension welded on. You're gonna need this if you're working on these kind of engines so you can get down in there. When it's shorter, you just can't get in there like you need to. So if you don't have an extension, make sure you get one or weld one on like I did. I have this bracket that I made specifically for this engine to hold my dial indicator, and it has a pointer that I've welded on so I can point down to my timing wheel and we can see where we're at. I'll also be using this positive stop. This will help us find our top dead center. I'll show you how to use this later in the video. And then you also need a calculator, a pen, and some paper. So let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna have to do in this process, we're gonna have to find top dead center. So we can put top dead center at 0 on our timing wheel. The first thing we're gonna do is put this positive stop down in the cylinder and screw it all the way down. If your engine is already at top dead center, you need to advance it a little bit or retard a little bit to make sure this goes all the way down without hitting the piston. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw that in. All right, so our positive stop is all the way down without hitting the piston. All right, I got my positive stop installed. So I turn my engine counterclockwise. So now I'm gonna turn the engine back clockwise. I'll be turning this wheel counterclockwise since it's on the opposite side of the motor, but the timing side of the motor will be turning clockwise. I'm gonna turn this wheel until the piston meets the piston stop. All right, now it's stopped. You can see we have it at 39. So we're gonna write that down. Now we're going to turn the engine counterclockwise until we meet the piston with the piston stop again. So here we have 45. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So now what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take my calculator, turn it on. I'm gonna do 39 plus 45 equals, and I'm gonna divide that by 2. That's gonna give me 42. So I need to set my timing wheel to 42. All right, so I'll start by loosening up this bolt. Alrighty. So now I'm just gonna set that to 42. And we're gonna tighten that back up. Alrighty. All right, so I have my wheel against the stop at 42. It's actually gonna be about 41 and a half. I did notice when I went to 45, as you can see, it was a little bit less than 45. So I brought a little bit under 42 there. So when we turn around, we should be at about 41 and a half again. So let's go ahead and turn the wheel again. So perfect. As you can see, we're about 41 and a half there. So now our timing wheel is set at 0 with top dead center. So now we can go to the next step. All right, so what I'm doing now is setting the dial indicator. As you can see here, you want it to sit on that bucket, just like that. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it, because what we're trying to find here is the lobe center. So we're gonna push that lobe down on that bucket, And then when we get it close, let me show you my dial indicator. We want to, when we get to lobe center, we're going to go back and forth in that little area where it floats. We want to find that, so it's about right there. And you can turn this dial indicator. Once you get to that, you want to make sure you put that on 0. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rotate the engine. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this wheel counterclockwise. So that means that the engine is turning clockwise. So I'm gonna go 10 on the dial indicator, but since we're going clockwise with the engine, that's the way it naturally turns. So everything's gonna be tight that way. The cam chain and everything's gonna already be set just like the engine was running. So I'm gonna turn that, I'm gonna run it straight to 10. And I went past it a little bit, so I'm gonna go back and then I'm gonna run it to 10 again. You don't wanna just turn it back to 10. You wanna go back a little bit so you can go again, just like the engine is running in the bike. You wanna run it like that and put it back to 10. And now we're gonna take a reading. And it looks like we got 113.5. So I'm right on my pad, 113.5. So now we're gonna go the other way. And since we're actually going counterclockwise on the engine, we're gonna go a little bit past 10. I usually go to 20 and then I turn it back forward. That way it's turning just like it would if it was running inside the engine, and I'll take it back to 10. So now I'm at 10. Now we'll get a reading again. So it looks like we have, well, I'll say 77.5. So I write down 77.5. And now I'll take my calculator. I'll do 113.5 plus 77.5 equals, and then I'm gonna divide that by 2. So we have 95.5. So these cam gears have just been pressed on. So that's a little bit off right there. We're gonna go ahead and advance it a little bit and try it again. All right, so we're gonna come back here now, loosen up our cam. Rotate the wheel. Move it forward a bit, like so. Tighten it back up. This doesn't have to be too tight while you're doing your timing. Just needs to be snug enough to hold it in place. You don't want to do your final tightening until you got your timing set where you want it. All right, now we'll go back over there and try it again. All right, so I got everything back at 0. Now I'm going to turn my engine back clockwise, and I'm going to go to 10. All right, just a hair more. Went past it a hair, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to turn it back clockwise to the number. All right, now I'm at 10. So our reading looks to be about 123. 123. And now we'll go back to the other side. We'll pass 10 to about 20, and then we'll pull it back forward to 10. All right. Now we'll get a reading there. 87. So we'll take our calculator. We'll do 123 plus 87 divided by 2. We got 105. So we're really close. I'm gonna move it just a hair. Like a lot of people will let us sit at this number, but me personally, I'll take the time just to ease it up just a hair to get that 106 like I'm looking for. So we'll go back over there, adjust the hair, and get it to 106. All right, so I went on and adjusted it. Let me bring it back to 0. All right, now we're gonna go back forward, clockwise with the engine. There's the 10. All right. So it looks like here we got 123.5. Now we're gonna go back to 0. Go counterclockwise with the engine to 20. Back clockwise to 10. All right. And now we're reading 87.5. So we'll take our calculator. 123.5 plus 87.5. And then we'll divide that by 2. Then we got 105.5. All right, so far I got 105.5 on my intake side, just a little bit to get it to my 106. You have to do that. You want to make sure that you get it down to the point of what the cam suggests. You know, these are just OEM cams. I always recommend about 106, 108 with OEM cams if you're doing an all motor setup. And I'm gonna go over here to my exhaust side and do the 108 on it also. And this is a good way to get some good power out of your bike. It's easy, it's simple, especially when you have the bigger wheel with the 180 degrees. It gets you your numbers quicker. And I think it's an easier process than your smaller wheel. Just make sure when you're doing this, you have everything pretty sturdy. You don't want a loose needle, you want it to be tight. You want to make sure everything on your dial indicator is tight, and you'll get good results out of it. So I hope you was able to learn something out of this video. For more videos like this, make sure to like and hit that subscribe button. Peace.